All right. Well, thank you so much for listening to our podcast or watching our video, whichever way you're hearing this. My name is Bott, and I am the host of this podcast. We have a really, really special guest. I'm very excited to kind of introduce my friend to our clients and our colleagues. So her name is Nina Cooke. She is a wonderful coach. She actually lives in the UK, and we've been chatting for about a year now, and it's been so great to learn more about what she does, and she's been helping me tremendously. So our topic is how to have a good mindset to build wealth. And that's kind of the general topic. But I definitely want to start out with just kind of an introduction for Nina. I'd love to have you kind of tell everybody your background and how you got started with your business.
Sure. It's great to be here, Marites. And really looking forward to chatting with you about how to build a mindset that embraces wealth. So a little bit about my background. I worked in corporate for a long time. And then when I had children, I set up my own business. I set up a personal shopping business. So I've been marketing and selling online since 2005. I had a good business. It was a nationwide business. I built it up very quickly. I had a wonderful team who looked after the clients and did some great work with them. However, I became aware that I wasn't a confident entrepreneur. I really wanted to be confident. One day, it was brought home to me in a very, very dramatic way. I had a big booking with a corporate, an accountancy firm, and they booked me to do a pampering evening for their team, for their senior female executives and their senior female clients. Off I went along to host this evening on behalf of my company. And it was big, swanky offices, lovely buffet, champagne, canapes, all this lovely stuff going on. And the senior female executives had booked themselves in for personal shopping consultations, makeup lessons, manicures.
Good.
It was all really beautiful. All the setup was done. And I thought, now I'm free. This is my opportunity now to start talking to the senior execs and hopefully get another booking with them.
Yeah.
And I started walking towards these two very smartly, sharply dressed women. And as I was walking towards them, a voice in my head said, don't talk to them because they'll find out that you're not good enough, that you're not very good at what you do, that you're flawed, and you don't want them to know that about you. You have to keep that stuff hidden. So I did a quick, sharp left turn and I hid away for the rest of the evening. I found a row of dark offices and I tried one of the doors that opened and I went inside and I sat in the semi-darkness for the rest of the evening.
Oh.
On the train on the way home, I looked at my reflection in the window and I thought, you can't keep doing this. You can't keep messing up opportunities. This is going to continue to happen until you sort it out. And I remember making a commitment to myself that I was going to fix this somehow. I was going to find a way to start feeling confident, but start feeling sure about myself and being able to talk to people in a way that made me feel that I was as good as them. And this started me off, Marites, on a long journey of personal discovery, personal development workshops, trainings, books, you name it, I did it. I needed to find something that gave me a permanent fix. I spent a lot of money, a lot of time. And although things seemed to work well for me at the beginning, after a while, the good effect would wear off. So it was just a temporary fix. I wanted a permanent fix. And one day, an email led me to a guy who said, the only reason you don't feel confident about yourself is because you believe these limiting beliefs are true about you. And I thought, okay, well, I'll try anything just to get this stuff done, fixed. And so I signed up with him and we began coaching. And after a while, I started realizing that I was behaving differently. For example, I wanted to shoot some videos for my business. And I always thought, No one's going to watch me. No one's going to be interested. Other people say this much better than me. What's the
Yeah.
point? It's scary to put myself out there. And then I remember one day thinking, I'm just going to make a very quick video. And there was no voice in my head saying, no, don't do that. I thought, that's really interesting. And I
Mm,
realized then that I had dissolved enough of my limiting beliefs to allow me to start making different decisions. I
mm,
brought fresh thinking in, and this felt expansive. It felt good. It felt safe. It felt liberating.
mm,
I realized if I can do this, anyone can do this. And that's when I started working with entrepreneurs, because I realized that entrepreneurs, many of them resisted
mm.
taking action in their business.
Yeah.
They were scared to show up. They were scared to play big. And because of this, they were limiting their income. They were limiting the type of clients they could work with. And this could be fixed.
Mhm. For sure.
That's what led me down the path of working with clients.
Mhm.
I love working with financial advisors, with lawyers, with anyone who feels that they are holding themselves back. It's not the strategy, it's not their team, it's not their clients. They
Mhm.
are doing it to themselves. And
Yeah.
the only way they can change that is by working on themselves. And when they're at that realization and that awareness, that is the perfect time to start working with them, because they are
Mhm.
committed, absolutely committed to, as I said, bring in some fresh thinking,
Mhm.
examine what they looked at, examine their thinking from before that
Mhm.
has limited them, and think, okay, so what can I do now that's going to expand my business?
Mhm.
What can I do that's going to give me new habits
Yeah.
that will
Yeah.
not only grow my business, but give me a better work-life balance?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I resonate so much with everything you just said because I think I know you work with men and women, but I think women in general, we go into our professional lives feeling less than. I mean, it just feels that way when I'm a lowly associate in a brand new law firm for me that has all these men that are much older than me. And so I totally get that feeling of like, oh, I'm not big enough, I'm not good enough. And I just remember, man, if I knew what I knew now in that body and at 25 years old, I would have been, much more farther ahead than I would be even today. But regardless, you needed that journey, just like you needed your journey to get to this place.
Exactly. And it reminds me of a client, a financial advisor, female, brilliant at what she did, took great care of her clients. And she said that she used to go to meetings and sit in a room full of men, and she would never speak up because she would sit there thinking, I don't know as much as them. They're not going to be interested in anything I have to say. I have to stay small, keep quiet. I can learn while I'm here, but I can't contribute in any way. And I
Mhm.
thought that's such a shame, because this wasn't
Mhm.
coming from the men in the room. This
Right.
was coming from her own thinking, the meanings that she was making up about
Yeah.
herself, and
Yeah.
how she was putting these limits on herself. And that meant that the guys didn't notice her in the room, but she
Yeah.
had so much to contribute. And once we worked together to identify and dissolve those limiting
Yeah.
beliefs, then
Yeah.
she started showing up in a much more powerful, more confident way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's exactly my own experience working with you is it took a while. I'm certainly not 100%, but each time it's better. Like I catch myself hitting that limiting belief in a room, and I'm like, nope, it's just your imagination. It's really just a neutral thing. And I remember your voice, so that I know that I'm worthy of this, interaction with these people. So I appreciate, what you were saying. And one of our first conversations, I remember the phrase you gave me was, "It's an inside job," and it really was like it's so true. Everything that anyone does, it doesn't matter what industry you're in, because we are very agnostic about industry, is that if you have the right mindset, the sky's the limit, whatever you're trying to achieve. Um, so tell us a little bit about kind of how you work with clients and how do we start and what's the mindset kind of how do you start to change the mindset?
Yeah. Working with clients, each one is a unique person. And what's fascinating is there's no two people on this earth who view the world in exactly the same way. We all have our unique way of looking at the world because we're looking at it through our own thoughts, our belief systems. Some of our beliefs are really positive and very productive, but other beliefs are negative and unproductive. So you have a unique view of the world, and the way that you see the world is different to how I see it. Isn't that fascinating? So every single client I work with, the work is completely customized to what their challenges are and what their goals are. And I've found over the years that whether I'm working with financial advisors or with lawyers or any other type of entrepreneur, the challenges tend to fall into the same buckets. So the main challenges that stop entrepreneurs from having all the success that they want are blocks around money. How much can they charge? How much money can they have? What is possible for them? Then we have blocks around marketing themselves. There's a real fear for many entrepreneurs about putting themselves out there and telling people what they stand for and what they offer, what their services are like, because they think people will criticize them. They'll feel that people won't be interested in what they have to say. And their competition is better than them. But we know that if you don't market, then no one's going to know what you do and they'll find someone else to work with. So marketing is obviously a crucial part. There are fears around sales conversations because no one wants to feel salesy or sleazy or have to persuade someone. So there's a lot of fear around asking for the sale, stating our fee. And this means that you don't have conversations. And we know that the more conversations you have, the more clients you're going to have. It's actually a very simple formula, marketing. It's what's the shortest route to a conversation with a prospect.
Yeah.
Also, I've come across a lot of avoidance behavior, avoiding marketing, avoiding outreach, avoiding follow-up, avoiding taking action. That means that you're more likely to get more clients and get in front of more people.
Yeah.
All this avoidance action is like burying your head in the sand and hoping that everything will go away. And it doesn't work like that. It just means that you're not taking action, you're not making progress in your business and feeling stuck. I worked with one financial advisor and he said to me, I feel I'm 30 years behind where I want to be.
That's
and
a
when he
horrible
said
feeling. Yeah.
that is a horrible feeling. So he felt stuck for 30 years in his business.
Yeah.
He knew that he could be taking, bigger action. He knew he could be opening another office, hiring another team member. But he was so scared of doing those things because he said, well, it's going to cost me money. And what if it doesn't work out? He was paralyzed by this fear.
Yeah.
And this is the type of thinking that has to be assessed and changed, because otherwise things aren't going to move forward. And what do we do at the end of our lives? We look back and we have all these regrets. So there's overwhelm, there's lack of focus, there's procrastination, and all of these are fear. This is fear-based thinking. So those are the main challenges that I work with when I work with entrepreneurs, because once you can start changing the behavior in these areas and making more productive behavior, then what happens is the entrepreneur starts becoming consistent. They start building consistent habits.
Yes.
And these consistent habits lead to taking action, to have more conversations, and therefore getting more sales. Consistency is the heart of any business. We know that. Delegating out the stuff that is strangling your time so you can focus on the high level work.
Yeah.
It seems so clear. It seems so obvious. It's logical. Well, of course, that's, I know I need to do that. But you can have the best marketing strategy in the world. But if you don't have a mindset that allows you to pursue that marketing strategy on a daily basis, then that marketing strategy is absolutely worthless to you. So it's getting clients into action, but in a way that they have expansive thinking, they're thinking big, they're playing big, they're willing to take risks, but in a way that feels free and expansive to them. Because we know that not everything we do is going to work. It's not that that's the issue. The issue is, what is your response? What is your response response when you try something and it doesn't work the way you want it to? Do you go and lick your wounds and disappear for a few weeks? Or do you think, okay, that was interesting.
Yeah.
I'll take the learnings from there and I'll move on. The most successful people, they are not scared of taking risks. They're not scared of taking action. They know some of the stuff isn't going to work.
Yeah.
But what they want to do is find the things that do work, do them consistently, and keep building their business that way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And all of that is so true, because we just have these little roadblocks as entrepreneurs because we're trying to do day to day, pay bills, pay my payroll, and yet you're like, okay, I know I should be really pivoting this way in order to build my business a different way. What I've found for me that's helpful, that I think I've heard from you, I've heard from other people, is knowing your why, right? Your why, even doing what you're doing, and also what is it down there that's really in the future that you're trying to achieve. It gives me kind of like, okay, that's my roadmap, and that's for my destination. Whatever the ins and outs of that path to get there, the little downturns, failures, whatever you want to call it, aren't feeling as bad, because I know, okay, I'm heading that way. So tell us what you think of, like, what is the connection to that why?
Yeah, the why is so important. And so many people don't have a why. They plunge into a business. They say, I really enjoy delivering this service. And they study their realize they have to become an expert marketer, an expert salesperson, expert at tech, expert at building a team. And they become overwhelmed with everything, which is why the why is so important, to get you through those times when you feel that everything is coming at you. You've got to do a million things. The why is, once you can find your why, it makes everything very clear, and it makes everything much simpler and easier. So when we work together, we keep your goals at the very top. And this is what motivates us to serve at the highest level. So there's lots of different reasons why people want to go into business. It can be because they want to provide a wonderful lifestyle for their family. It may be because they want to serve at the highest level. They want to transform people's lives. It could be a combination of things. But often people forget that part of it, and they get into the nitty-gritty of every day, and it feels really, really tiring. So I would encourage everyone who's listening, whether they're in business or not, to really find out what is important to them, what matters to them. Is it family? Is it health? Is it building a particular type of lifestyle? And I would encourage you to go beyond that. So if you could go to the very end of the road, if you could go down that road as far as you can, what do you really, truly want? And when I ask my clients this, they'll say things like, I want the freedom of choice. I want the freedom to be able to do what I want to do when I want to do it. I want to be able to travel. I want to be able to take my family on an amazing holiday. I want to do incredible self-care for myself. So I would encourage everyone to go beyond the surface goals and really think, what is important to you? What makes your heart sing? It doesn't have to be something that costs money. It can just be having time to yourself every day. It could be creating a wonderful mindset practice that gets you in touch with who you really are. So I think what I'm saying is self-care and taking that time for yourself is really, really important. And it's something that we skip because we think we're too busy to do it, that we'll do it tomorrow. We have all these New Year's resolutions. Don't wait for January or for a particular month. Just self-care is the most important thing you can do, which is why I love personal development. The most important thing to me is finding a moment of peace, a moment where I have complete clarity, a moment where a really wonderful liberal thought pops into my mind without me having to search for it. You know, those moments in between, those moments of quiet in between words. That is the most precious thing. Or just being in the moment, just finding that split second where you think, I'm right in this moment now. So all of these things are precious beyond words. So take
Absolutely.
some time, if you haven't already, for anyone who's listening, to think about what is really important for you. What would you,
Yeah.
what do you stand for?
Yeah. And what I'm going to tack on to that is because of what I do, we talk about legacy and what you're going to leave behind. So I'm a big proponent, and some people, maybe this is too rah rah for them, right? But for me, I'm always asking, well, what do you want your kids to feel about what you've established for yourself and what they're getting? Money is money, but you also want to have those values passed on, or is it a legacy of no, I want a legacy of I've helped people out in this area of my business, and that I'll always have that contentment that I've helped this family to the highest degree. Like whatever it is, I feel like there should be more than just like in our lifetime is my point. So
Yeah. Legacy is such a wonderful word, and it means something different to every single person.
yeah,
Like you, I have children and
right.
I want to be able to support them financially and
Mm-hmm.
help them to buy their first property. That is a big why for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's not my biggest why, but it is a big why for me. And for
Mm-hmm.
that, I know I need
Yeah,
someone like you, to help me to plan, to make sure all of that is in place. It's peace of mind.
yeah.
That's really what it is, leaving a legacy, making sure that you're taking steps to secure that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we can't control everything, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
but what we can do is have intentional thinking
Mm-hmm.
that if you want to create a legacy for your family, whether that's financial, values, whatever it is, that you commit to
Yeah.
making that happen, because it doesn't happen on its own.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what I find so exciting about, rather than default old conditioned thinking, which takes us down negative rabbit holes, to think, okay, so I'm here right now. What do I want to create in my life?
Mm-hmm.
And spend some time on this. It's really, really important. Otherwise, you can be directionless
Yes.
in your life and
Yeah.
feel you're living the life your parents wanted, or that your school teacher suggested for you. Live the life that you want.
Mm-hmm.
And it always starts with assessing where you are and then seeing, okay, what do I really truly want?
Yeah.
What do I want for myself? What do I want for my family? It's so important because you can take action about it right now.
Right.
And don't wait like my client did, for
Right.
30 years and think, life's passed me by and I'm
Yeah.
not where I want to be.
Right.
It's so sad, because we can do something about it now.
Absolutely. That's what one of the things, takeaways that I've learned from you is the now, and just really, it's really a decision in your head to say, I want this. I want this now. And in my head, I'm just gonna believe that it's already here or that it'll be here eventually, that type of thing. Because you could at least live in that present time, but know you're working towards whatever legacy you're trying to build.
And take action on it now. Take whatever action you can take the first step now
Yeah.
to start working to make sure you secure that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what do you suggest for an entrepreneur who might be listening today to maybe have, like, what would be the first step if they did want to work on their mindset, kind of get reset and have this, conversation with you? What do you think is the first step and some of the tools that might be good for them to start with?
The best way of doing this, I've found, is to take a big bird's eye view of your business. And this is something that I love doing with you. And by doing that, you start seeing, okay, so these are all the areas of my business. There's productivity, there's marketing, there's sales, there's the business essentials. What am I doing well? And what aren't I doing well? And where do I need to put my focus? Because we can spend time focusing on the wrong areas in our business.
Mm-hmm.
So I've created two scorecards. One is for financial advisors and one is for people who aren't financial advisors. And what they do is they highlight the areas of your business that need your attention so you can grow your profit as quickly as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And I would encourage anyone who wants to start looking at where their mindset is stuck to take these. One is called a scorecard and one is called a profile, and see where they are right now. And
Mhm.
then if they want to take the next step and book a call with me where we deep dive into their business, we take a look at what's working, what isn't working, we put together a roadmap to help them get to their goals, then I would love to speak to anyone. But the first step is to do some exploring. And
Mm.
the scorecard and the profile, one is for financial advisors, one is for non-financial advisors, they both give you lots of insights about your mindset,
Mm.
which you may not be aware of. And this is the really juicy part, because once you know where you need to start building, then it becomes very easy for you to take the next step.
I like that. I think we all need to do that check up, tune up, whatever for all of our, business processes as well as just your mindset. So I think that is a great first step. And I do remember our first conversation. I mean, I learned so much just in that one conversation with you. So I know whoever wants to take advantage of that, just get the information so that you know what direction to go. Yeah.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Well, is there any other final thoughts you might have?
Final thoughts. If you become aware that you have negative thinking going on, just stop and ask yourself, is this 100% true about me?
Mm.
And you'll always get the answer, no, it's not 100% true about me.
Mm.
So this will help you to
Yeah.
start disrupting that negative thinking. And the more you can disrupt it, the easier your mind will settle. And you'll become clear. You'll start having those moments of clarity.
Mm.
Again, it's awareness. So just become aware of when that starts happening for you so you can disrupt it as quickly as you can.
I love, love, love that because it's prevented me from stewing on many occasions just in the last year because you can sit and just keep repeating in your head and stew it and all those negative things. So that's just great advice. Well, thank you so much, Nina. I really appreciate your time today and loved our conversation. I learned more about you and I loved it. I didn't know that you owned that business before, so that was cool to know. But glad to have you on our podcast. Maybe one day we'll do it again. Anybody who has any questions, certainly they can reach out to Nina. There's some information on the link. Otherwise, you can call me and ask me about it as well. So thank you, everyone, for joining us and being part of our podcast, and hope you have a wonderful day.